This is Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger, and you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is made in collaboration with the Jewish Journal. Check them out at jewishjournal.com. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, israelnationalnews.com. And last but not least, in collaboration with Australian Jewish News, check them out at ajn.timesofisrael.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, visit 2njb.com/donate. As of today, Israel hasn't been hit very hard by the coronavirus, relatively speaking. The government took extreme measures early on and managed to limit the spread of the virus and the death toll. One of the unique steps taken by the Israeli government was to rent out entire hotels throughout the country and convert them into quarantined hotels. The idea was simple. If you have corona and can't isolate, check into the hotel, receive food and medical treatment, and once you recover, you can check out. Welcome to the Hotel Corona. Such a lovely place. Noam Shuster is a stand-up comedian, a peace activist, and recently patient number 3555. When she checked into Hotel Corona in Jerusalem, nothing had prepared her for the multicultural, unforgettable experience that would unfold in the following days. We're so happy to host one of the only people in Israel who can't infect us with COVID-19, hopefully, Noam Shuster. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
So I got to ask, because I don't think I've ever met anybody that's had it. What is it like to hear that you have COVID?
I think that when I started making my way from the U.S. home, I mentally prepared myself that I'm going to catch it on the way, because I flew from the U.S. during the days where there was total hysteria and the numbers were unbelievable, and there were no gloves and no masks.
When was this?
March 21st.
So this was also right at the beginning, not
right,
before
yeah.
Everybody knew, like,
right.
Okay, well, it's not a big
You
deal for
flew
younger people.
Without masks?
There was nothing in no CVS. Everything was exactly at the time where everyone were just storming the stores, and so I used a scarf and I tried to be as careful as possible on the way home, but I knew somewhere in my gut that I'm probably catching it on the way, and I went straight into quarantine at a separate unit at my parents' house. And 4 days later, when my fever I had fever and started developing symptoms, I knew that I had it. The test took a long time. But when I saw, positive on the results,
yeah.
It was scary, not for me. I was scared for my parents, even though we were keeping all the rules. I was distant from them, but just the thought that I might cause someone else so dear to my heart, like my parents, who are at a risk group. So that was the scariest part.
Yeah.
And
how was the actual sickness? Like what happened? What went down?
Every person, they
experiences it differently.
Experiences differently, but I don't wish the symptoms that I had, I don't wish it to my enemies. Seriously, it was not fun. I felt really, really weak. I still kind of feel weak, to be honest. I did some blood tests because I wanted to go donate my plasma after I was released, and they didn't take my plasma because my iron is so low now. So
wow.
I don't think people talk about it enough, that like some of us who got hit, hard by the virus, we're a little bit weak even now, a few weeks after. Anyways, that's for a different chapter maybe of your podcast. But I experienced extreme tiredness, and I lost my sense of taste and smell, and I lost a lot of weight. Some of my friends are really jealous because of it.
Maybe it's going to be a new trend.
Yes.
The COVID diet.
and I honestly, I had every symptom. I had difficulty breathing, and I was hospitalized and plugged into oxygen for a day or two before I checked into the hotel. The nurses on the phone, they used to go through all the symptoms, and I had everything, really, really everything.
Which isn't like necessary. Like you can get only
There
a
were-
few.
Yeah, there were some
you
people.
just went down the list and checked them all.
There were in the hotel, there were, corona patients in the hotel who are 70 plus years old with no symptoms. They just happened to be near a sick person, so they had to go get the test, and they tested positive, but they had no symptoms. So it's pretty amazing how different people react to the virus. The hotel was filled with young people who, young Israelis who were coming back from their trip in, Brazil or whatever. Some of them were saying that in their quarantine apartment, they were hooking up and stuff. And this guy hooked up with a girl, and she's negative, and he's positive. So there is no. It's hard to chukiyut. It's really hard to track what the rules are.
But you took them all.
I took them all. Yeah, I was really sick.
And just for the record, for the skeptics among us, did you ever in your life had the flu?
No.
The flu you never had?
Never had the flu.
Okay.
So
you can't compare and tell me if it's worse.
I mean, I usually, even when I'm sick, sometimes in winters, whatever, I never have fever. So as soon as my fever went up, I was like, shit. And I was pale, and I fainted in the shower because it was hard for me to breathe, and there was so many things going on.
There were stories of people who died at home just because their oxygen level went so low, and they didn't realize it.
And they suffocated.
It's a nasty.
Yeah, they lost their consciousness, and and then
it's a nasty virus. I really felt like my whole body is experiencing something. It really attacked my body, but for us young people with no medical background, we go through it. Just thinking of older people with medical issues, it must be really, really tough. I really felt how my body is strong enough to fight this, and was fighting it pretty quickly. But wow, I felt really, really bad for people who are not strong enough to fight this. It's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at what point did you get moved from your parents' apartment to the hotel?
Yeah.
Hotel Corona.
So for the first few days, my symptoms, was going up and down. Maybe I had 4 days at home where the nurses were calling me, and I gave them my temperature every few hours on the phone. And then one day it just went crazy again. Yeah. And I fainted, and I had difficulty breathing, and then the ambulance came and took me to the hospital. But so the first few days I thought, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go through this. I'll be home alone, sick. It's not fun. I felt like Anna Frank a little bit because my parents, I opened the window and my parents would leave food for me on the window, and it was it's not fun.
At least it was good food, right?
Yeah,
Mom's
my
food.
mom. Yeah, my mom is Persian, so.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
Yeah, but the joke in the house those days was my father is Ashkenazi, so I was like, Dad, it's your time to cook. I lost my sense of taste and smell, so I won't notice anything. Anyways, let Mom rest.
Nice.
Get רגל כרושה.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you moved to
First
the
to the hospital.
Yeah, first to the hospital, and then when I was in the ambulance being taken to the hospital, and as soon as
Did you think you were gonna die at one point?
No.
Okay.
No.
I would.
No.
Yeah, of course you would.
No, it wasn't. It
You've
wasn't.
been thinking that since
I
you
think
were
about
12.
it every day.
I mean, it was scary, to feel this such a extreme soreness in your lungs. It's scary. I was like, is this damage? Is damage forever? But I wasn't. I needed help with oxygen. I didn't need help with like breathing, actual breathing. But the whole thing, as soon as I left the quarantine apartment, and I reached the hospital, I felt like I was in the battlefield of the corona, because
everybody's walking around
with the suits, and
it's like you're an ET or whatever.
Yeah,
like some kind of end of days movie.
And everyone are scared of you.
Yeah,
like she's a corona patient, and so there was one person that had to show me from the ambulance to where the department is, and we're in the elevator together. And
wow.
I was documenting myself the whole time, and I was like,
with your phone?
With my phone, everything. Even when I fainted, I documented myself. Like a few seconds after, and he was wearing full mask, full suit, and I was like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "You're going to the Corona department, Gimel." And I was like, "Corona? I don't have corona." And then he stopped the elevator. He's like, "What?" So I'm joking. There is like. People are so scared to make mistakes, and
everybody's hypersensitive.
Right.
They're on edge.
And then I got to the hotel to the hospital, and everyone was so nice. The nurses, the doctors, they were so nice. They're like, "Welcome. You're the first patient in the Corona department, Gimel, in Adasa and Karem. Welcome. We're gonna treat you." And then they take you, to show you the toilet. It's like every time you use the toilet, you have to. They have a bucket full of pills that I guess are
it's iodide, I think, or something. Iodide pills.
And you have to drop it. After you do a number 1, number 2 doesn't matter.
To decontaminate your
yeah. And you have to drop it in the toilet. And all these rules that only apply to corona patients. And then a few minutes after I arrived there, the door opens. And, it's a whole procedure for the door to open. It's like only people who are allowed are coming in, people who are confirmed patients, people who are confirmed staff and crew. And then a bed.
Is there like mist? Like I imagine like
so that's like that's almost the scenario. And then a bed. I see a bed coming in with a young woman on the bed, and I hear the nurse saying, "We brought her from the labor room." And I see a Haredi woman crying, and she literally just gave birth, and because she has the virus, she couldn't even see or touch the newborn baby, was separated from the baby, and she's Haredi, so she doesn't have a smartphone to see pictures or anything. Within 15 minutes, the nurse in the labor room took my number from the nurse in the Corona department, and I had pictures of her baby, and I showed her. And, we can touch, we can hug, we can cry, we can comfort each other because we're sick, which is a weird situation. Very, very weird. We don't have, we don't have to be careful with each other. And she, she was looking at the pictures and trying to digest the fact that she just gave birth, and her baby is in the tinokia, the nursery,
Wow. And on kibbutzim, that's like completely normal.
Right. Yeah,
right?
you're be separated.
Yeah,
but oh my God.
That's incredible. It's like the privileges of being sick, right? That you were able to kind of have this physical connection or even be close to people.
Yeah, but in this tragic, because she's
not like not outside.
Right. Yeah.
That's insane.
And then when did they move you from the hospital to the hotel?
So they did a bunch of tests and a lot of blood. There was a lot. They take a lot of blood from corona patients, and a day and a half after, when the doctors, by the way, there are doctors who are interns who were with us and came in contact with us, but professors, the older doctors, they were communicating with us like it was like a big brother situation. So it was like, Noam, and then I was like, what? Who is talking to me from? It was like, Noam, I'm here, I'm right here. It's like, the sound of God, like somewhere, some microphones, and we were being taped also with cameras and stuff.
But that's like the worst bitch work for an intern to get.
Right, yeah, no,
like
for sure.
Hazing of the interns by making them treat corona patients.
Yeah, not only that, he sometimes would bring a screen into the room so that I can communicate with the professor, the doctor. He's like, Doctor,
take this into there so I can talk to her.
Yeah, Dr. Shumovitz wants to talk to you, and then it's like a screen. Hi, Noah. It's like, hi.
Too bad they didn't air it on channel 20 or something. The cameras. It would be the greatest reality TV show ever.
Do a Corona Big Brother version.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so then when I was being released, I thought I was going home. And they're like, you're not going home. The ambulance is taking you to Dan Hotel in Jerusalem. And I was like, oh my God.
Thank you.
As a comedian, I was like, the world stopped anyways. We're all kind of in this shit together. At least instead of, being home alone. And, the ambulance dropped me off outside the, far away. And then the security is right there. They're far by the doors. And then there's just like a separate entrance for the corona patient. Once you're out of the ambulance, you're only allowed to go in this
covered in plastic.
The Green Mile.
Yeah, the Green Mile, exactly. And then I walk in, and the hotel doesn't look like, the hotel anymore. The reception is
it's The Shining more.
It's there is a separation, like a plastic thing, where the entire crew and staff that stayed in the hotel that are working now under the home front command, Bikud Haoref.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not working for the hotel anymore. They're working
they're being paid
for the army.
Right. Yeah.
Because the army operated these hotels.
Yeah, and I walk in, and I was like, hello? Is there anyone here? It's like the ambulance just you're alone. And there's and they know that you're supposed to, to arrive, because the army lets them know who's coming from which hospital. And then this such a nice guy, Baruch, the manager of the reception, is like, Noam, welcome to Dan Hotel. He tried to make it as fancy as possible. And he's behind this plastic, thing and wearing a mask. And the only thing that he would do is he gave me a pile of papers that said, how we get food, where we get our laundry from, and the keys. And it's imagine you check into a hotel and you get, no one is showing you your room. No one is really telling you anything. There's nothing really open.
That's crazy. Was the pool open?
Well, technically not, but
okay.
Yeah. Let's just say that I don't envy the manager of the Dan Hotel in Jerusalem for the amount of money that they have to,
spend on cleaning,
on renovating everything now. So sorry, that was my phone.
No, that's all right. We're sorry. I hope it's okay.
It was a nice phone.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
So wow, so you guys broke into the pool.
Well, not me specifically.
To put it,
Let's just say that for the young people with Corona during this time in the hotels, they were having a good time.
A blast.
They were having a blast.
Wow.
We, to be honest, we were partying. I'm not gonna lie. The first thing when I walked into the hotel, I was told that there is a Zumba class in the lobby at 6 p.m.
Oh,
and then turns out it was a Zumba instructor who only did a 10-minute thing when she's sharing it on her Instagram story, and there's okay, that's it, I got it on my Instagram story, now go back to your business.
How many people were there when you checked in?
200.
Wow. And when you checked out? 2.
Even more. No, even more.
Even more.
But
how long were you there?
I was there for 2 weeks. So I was there from April. I was released on April 19th.
Okay, so middle April.
And I think that a week after I left, these hotels started closing. Like,
Mhm.
you know, there was a feeling. So at first, this hotel turned into just a quarantine hotel for people who are coming from abroad and don't have a place to quarantine. And then a week after, the hotels were. So I was there at the time when there was a little bit of, you know, a lot of interest and hysteria and, you know, a lot of curiosity on who are these people who are stuck together in the hotel. And to be honest, it was, first of all, I was able to perform again. You know, I was supposed to perform in the United States to do a tour of my stand-up show. And, you know, one of the most devastating news for us was that there is no more gathering, no more audience. We moved to Zoom. Horrible way to do stand-up. Now I'm enjoying it a little bit more. But I had an audience. I did 2 shows in the lobby, you know, with an actual audience, not in Zoom.
Wow.
It was great. And the feeling in our hotel, I think we just had a really unique experience.
Yeah.
There was some kind of a mix that I can't really... I don't know if it was specifically the people who were there at the same time, but it was just, you know, Palestinians and Jews and, you know, Haredi Jews and secular Jews and Ashkenazi Jews who were more in their rooms, but like more quiet, stayed quiet in their rooms, but like, you know, just like more traditional, more everything. And
were there any like interesting even conflicts or like friction?
I was so shocked by the fact that everybody's getting along and we have this external threat that is the coronavirus. So I was like, what's going on? Everybody's getting along. It drove me a little bit crazy. So I made up fights in the lobby.
Okay.
So I found a partner. I was like, his name is Golan. I was like, Golan, listen, this is too much, too far from reality.
Need some drama.
Yeah, we need some drama.
Yeah.
And we had our, you know, we're having dinner. So we had the chamgashiot, I don't know what to call it.
The food trays.
Yeah, the food trays. I told him, tell me to clear all the garbage from the table. He's like, Noam, please, yalla, take a bag and start, you know, like, and I was like, Golan, stop, you've asked me this for 4 times already, shut up, stop, because I'm a woman, you know, and we did like a fight together in the lobby. And for the first like 5 seconds, people believed us, but then they knew we were joking, so they all joined us. Yalla, makara, mas. They were all just taking out their energies with us.
And were there like romance stories?
Yeah. Young people were hooking up.
You have couples
love? Any couples or just like sex?
I think it was more on the non-serious end of things. I'm not sure any couples came out of this. There were a lot of couples there who got the virus together and they were there.
So breakups.
Right. Yeah. Possibly.
No love,
or pregnancy.
Many became swingers during
but
wow.
Yeah, it's just, it was so, you know, surreal because, for example, you know, I arrived, I think, on Sunday or something, and Passover, you know, the Seder was maybe 2 or 3 days later. So I came into the hotel exactly when there were preparations for the Seder. And we realized that everyone, you know, most of the Jews in the world are celebrating alone without their families, isolated.
You guys get to have this huge...
We get to have this huge thing.
Wow.
And the CEO of the hotel was afraid that there's going to be clashes between seculars and more observant. So they put in the dining hall, they put like a split. And people took out the split. They said, we are going to get along. You know, people are going to respect each other. And we had an amazing Seder, actually.
With Palestinians, by the way?
Yeah. They were sitting. I mean, I don't think they waited the whole time till they could eat. Like they were eating, you know, earlier. But it was really remarkable, everything. I had a little bit of an identity crisis, I think. I was like, because I do stand up about, you know, the conflict, you know, identity politics. I'm really interested in politics
let's talk about that for a sec. You're from a town in Israel that's got quite a name for kind of peace activism, right? It's
I grew up.
Neve Shalom, how do
Yeah.
you say it in English?
The Oasis of Peace.
Yeah, that
Fadichot,
sounds awful.
Horrible.
You should call it the Oasis of Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of Shalom.
Yeah.
It's funny when I write in emails Neve Shalom, which is sometimes the autocorrect it says never Shalom, and I was like, pretty accurate. But yeah, I grew up in the only community in Israel where Jews and Arabs live together by choice. So I grew up into this kind of give peace a chance movement. My parents moved there so that I can speak Arabic, and I was raised with Palestinians, and my whole life I was really exposed to both sides. And so
it's not your fault. You were brainwashed as a kid.
Right, yeah.
To have these delusions.
Yeah, and I keep dreaming about how my life would look like if my parents would just stay in Tel Aviv and I would grow up.
You'd probably be even more leftist.
Yeah, right. It's true. So I have a little bit...
This experience... Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm saying that, my life experience and also my comedy is shaped by the fact that we don't get along. And I have a lot of anxiety around what happens if peace happens. I will be out of materials, out of a job. And so that's why I was really anxious in this hotel. I was like, what the hell? Everybody's getting along? Hell no. My career will be over. So
we got to put an end to this peacemaking.
Yeah. So...
I see. Yeah. So you auto-corrected it to never peace.
Yeah.
but you had like special relationship because you participated in this NPR podcast. Let's plug them because that's how we came to you. What
translating?
Rough translation.
Rough translation.
Yeah, they did a really nice episode about the Hotel Corona with more characters, not just me.
Right. Yeah. We picked the best character for our show. But so you became close to this one Palestinian woman, right? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. I think because I speak Arabic and I was raised with, the two sides, I often really confuse people because I speak Arabic fluently. I'm Jewish. I look Middle Eastern. My mom was born in Iran. I'm half Iranian Jewish. So people get confused when they meet me. They don't know I'm Arab, I'm Jewish. How do I know Arabic? Am I from the army? Are you recording me? Are you a spy? Are you my friend? Like, it's very confusing. And so I usually take on this role of bringing people together or, confusing people or, but what was nice in this hotel is that I didn't need to do that. People were just doing it because the situation was so extreme and we were stuck together in the same hotel. But in one of the evenings, when we were sitting and laughing and singing in Arabic and in Hebrew, I started talking to this really special woman from Jerusalem, a Palestinian from East Jerusalem. She's a midwife in Hadassah Hospital. And she just has a remarkable story. She lost her husband a month beforehand to cancer, and she was supposed to stay home and do the mourning, and in the hospital they told her that she doesn't have to go back to work, but because of the corona situation, everything was so stressed out, she decided she's going back to work and to the labor room, and she caught the virus in the hospital, and she has 5 kids. She left them at home. Anyways, we became really close in the hotel. And
her husband had just passed away.
Yeah, a month before.
That's really devastating.
Yeah, and you just hear those stories. These stories were all around me all the time, and I love connecting with people, and I love hearing their stories, and especially in the time of Corona, everyone had a story. Where did you catch it? Did you make someone else sick? Like, how many kids did you leave at home? Are where did this virus catch you in your life? Everyone has a story.
And everybody has like a number? Everybody knows their number?
No, actually.
Or is it just made up?
I think because I was doing a lot of social media stuff, so I really wanted to know my number. Okay. So when they called me from, the Ministry of Health, and they told me your number is 3,555, and that's like 3 times khamsa, khamsa, khamsa. I was like, oh, thanks. That's such a great number. So I really used it.
And they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We have another 4,000 people to call.
So some people couldn't, they couldn't give a shit about. Can I say shit on your podcast? Okay.
You can say shit.
Sorry. So, I cared about it because I wanted, this information. But other people are like, how do you know your number? We don't even care what our number is. So yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a Holocaust
you said
problem.
Anne Frank, now numbers. Yeah.
Did you tattoo that number? Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Too soon.
Too soon.
So I got a question. Would you, looking back, because it sounds like this is a pretty incredible experience. I'm kind of jealous, of half of it.
Right.
So this is
without
why,
the being sick part.
Exactly. So this is why I'm wondering if you could go back, would you do you regret it? Was it worth it? Would you do it again?
Look, I mean, you're catching me in this conversation. I feel like I'm in the midst of things. I haven't really had time to process things. I was in the US in the middle of a dream year. I was in the middle of a Harvard fellowship working on my one-woman show. I was an artist resident on campus. My premiere at the Kennedy Center in DC was supposed to be last night. And I had this few months to work on my one-woman comedy show called Coexistence My Ass.
You can't say ass on the podcast.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But the show is about
irony,
coexistence
though.
and my right, yeah. And I was full of cynicism and jokes about my experience and Jews and Arabs trying to get along and identity in Middle East and blah 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 whatnot. And I think that the fact that this virus cut this in the just as things were about to get big for me, and I was supposed to go on a tour and stuff, and I had to make it home and then catch the virus and then it just seems like it's another chapter of my show or a whole other show that I'm going to write. So this is what happened. I had a lot of conversations with God, with the universe, why me? Why do I get picked all the time to be in the center of these dramas? And also I think I'm wearing glasses. I'm actively putting on glasses where I see things in a critical way, in a political way. I think about things, socially. This is what I care about. Mm-hmm. The future of this place, the geopolitical, tensions that we have. This is where I get my material from. So I don't regret anything. Do I wish I was on stage at the Kennedy Center right now? Hell yes. Do I wish that there, weren't, all this pain and demonstrations and violence that we're experiencing, here and in the United States right now? Of course.
Do we wish the Chinese wouldn't have,
right,
in their labs, create this virus?
Do we wish Naor wasn't spreading conspiracy theories? Right. Yes, but...
You know what's funny? In December, I was part of this delegation of peace activists meeting the Dalai Lama. Yeah.
Wow.
And, he was sitting and telling us about the conditions of the Tibetans in exile and how much they suffered from China. If I would have known that 3 months later, I would have been able to tell the Dalai Lama, you know what? I suffered from China also, And so all these things, they happened. I can't take it back. And I think that as an artist, as someone who wants to create more stories and influence people in a good way and the world in a good way, I am thankful, for what happened to me and the strength that I'm building right now to, to find the vocabulary, to find a way to make this funny. I still don't know. I don't feel very funny these days, to be honest.
It's hard.
Yeah, but I have to, but I want to, and I have to, and I know that it will come because I've made I think much harder situations funny in the past. So I'm waiting.
If you can make the conflict funny,
right?
You can make Corona funny.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you. You made me feel better.
Katanalai. In Hebrew, that means small on you.
Small on me.
Small on you.
It will take me 2-3 months. Roof.
Yes.
Gag.
It's true. We should just translate all the untranslatable words.
So what happens on the day you go out from the hotel and the days after?
Oh, wow. Well, I had a crush on a guy that I thought...
Now it's getting interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I had a crush on a guy that I thought will find my antibodies really appealing. But
A guy from the
I'm not-
hotel?
no,
Ah, not from the
someone outside.
hotel. Okay.
You wanted to attract him with your
No,
antibodies?
it was a joke. But
No, but I'm just trying to think
no,
like
but
the medical
I should
process.
no, but I need to show you my inbox. It's like
okay.
when you're a corona survivor who's talking in public about
Yeah.
when I came out of the hotel, I find all these really weird, little bit nasty, a little
Pickup
bit
lines?
yeah. Wanna
No.
come over to my place and exchange antibodies.
That's great.
a lot of Twitter
You got to
messages,
commend
a
them
lot
for
of-
the creativity.
yeah, for sure. And I see, because when I checked out of the hotel, people were still distant from each other, right? People were not meeting and hooking
Yeah.
up and going out yet. So I think that people were just like horny in their houses, and I think people just thought I was like a safe target or something. So that was that. But when the feeling, first of all, I didn't know in the beginning if I can straight away come out of the hotel and hug my parents. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do. So first of all, I cleaned everything like crazy. We boiled all my clothes. All these like theories that we have about this stupid virus that no one knows if it's true. That you have to boil all your clothes in like 90 degrees, whatever. No one knows anything. But being outside, I slept a lot. I was really, really resting. My sense of taste and smell came back a little bit. So I was eating my mom's food and I could taste, I could taste.
So that's a symptom? You lose
Yeah.
taste
Yeah.
and smell
Completely.
completely?
I felt like I...
For weeks.
מתכת, איך אומרים? Steel.
Mm-hmm.
My mouth tasted like steel.
Like iron.
Like iron for a
Mhm.
few weeks. No, imagine you're in the shower
Mhm.
and you're shampooing yourself and you're full of, and you don't smell anything, nothing.
It's so scary also
Wow.
because I would be scared that will it ever come back? Yeah, you're not the kind of person, but that's where I would
Yeah.
go. Again.
Since
yeah,
you're
yeah.
12.
telling us your fears.
Yeah. No, because
It is scary.
It's scary.
I mean, was it like was it
No,
was
but
it
the
known?
coughing-
It was known.
That,
It
no,
was
it was
known.
known.
Yeah.
No, it was known that people get it back also.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Like
no.
it returns after you
Yeah.
recover.
For me, the coughing was the worst. It's like this dry cough that is really, really. The cough was the worst.
Can you
for me.
demonstrate them? Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if anyone was busy and got some media coverage and lost weight, like all my friends are like, you got famous and skinny, where do we get this virus? So I mean, I'm not complaining. I feel like I've been through an earthquake, and now I left my parents' house and I'm subletting something temporary in Tel Aviv. I feel like, I'm in the middle of I don't know what and what's next, but I'm trying to,
I'm just thinking that if I may reveal that you're in the Abram hostel,
Mhm.
so in a way it's a bit of reaching out with nostalgia to the experience of the Corona hotel
Yeah.
there, no?
Only without the corona.
Only
yeah.
without the Corona,
Yeah.
but a little
I'm
bit.
hoping to do some shows there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool place, cool venue.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
You are
insane.
two nice Jewish boys.
We are.
You are.
Just
Do people always say that to you on your
Yeah.
podcast? Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes.
So, I mean, not the fans.
Not anymore.
The fans think we're
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. No, yeah. When the episodes can become
Can become heated.
yeah.
We've had some controversial episodes,
Oh,
and then we have
okay.
people write to us.
So we can do a follow up with controversial stuff. I
Yeah,
can tell
sure.
you.
yeah, where we like create drama
Yeah.
and we yell at each
Yeah.
other, and
Yeah.
like the guy in the kitchen.
Tell us where you're going from here.
I'm going to the Women's March.
Tell us
in
about it.
Tel Aviv. There is.
You're trying to make this controversial.
No. Just plugging
I'm
the
going
event.
to a demonstration / a march to show solidarity and march with the women against violence against women.
Right. During
In
Corona.
yeah.
the violence, in-house violence, increased
Yeah.
significantly in Israel. I guess in other places, it's a huge problem. And also before Corona, we have like some intense cases of women being murdered by their spouses. So
Just to
that's
end on a positive note, you
Yeah.
know?
well, that's life, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are comedians who don't like to touch on politics and social justice issues, but I'm not. I think that it's part of my responsibility to show up in these places and to talk about issues that I care about.
But I thought you meant also in your material.
Yeah.
Do you touch it in your material also? Do you like,
Yeah.
you'll joke about it?
I mean, joke about it in a way where I'm trying to like challenge power dynamics. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to like disrespect obviously the victims and their families, but you try and like joke about the toxic masculinity and that stuff. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, not in a like boring woke way, but
Yeah,
we're trying different materials. So
Cool. So
Yeah.
you're doing stand-up in English also,
and Hebrew and Arabic. Yeah.
in Hebrew and Arabic. Wow, that's
Yep.
Not in the
amazing.
same show.
Yeah.
That would be confusing.
Well, depends on the audience. Sometimes
Really?
there are venues, or for example, I'm doing a show for the U.S. Embassy here in Tel Aviv, and they have Palestinians and they have Israelis and they have Americans. So I'm gonna be mixing all three languages.
Wow. Are
Yeah.
there other Palestinian stand-up comics in Israel who perform in Arabic?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really unknown amongst us
Yeah.
Israelis.
Yeah, I mean the Palestinians know them.
Right, of course. Wow.
Yeah, there's
It's an
some
interesting scene.
Yeah, definitely. And I was actually the first Jewish comedian to be invited to a Palestinian comedy festival
Really?
in East Jerusalem and in the U.S.
There's
also.
so much of a scene that there's a Palestinian comedy festival.
Of course, yeah.
And can you make like Nakba jokes?
Yeah.
You can.
So what I tell the audience is like, I'm gonna make a Holocaust joke and then a Nakba joke, so you don't feel like you're gonna get. No, but I usually just warn the audience in advance. I'm gonna tell them, guys, I'm only here for 7 minutes, not 72 years. Don't worry, it's fine. So it's yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Right.
So if people hear this in a few months where we found vaccine for Corona and everybody can fly everywhere, and some people in the American Jewish community want to invite you over, so it's
Please.
possible. How
Yeah.
do they get in touch?
Well, they can get in touch on Instagram, Noam_June, Twitter, Noam Shuster. My email is noamshuster@gmail.com. Whatever you can.
They should get in touch with us so we get commission. We'll be the middleman.
Right.
Contact us.
Right.
Contact
Yeah.
us. We'll be your agents.
Right. Yeah.
But also, you doing like, are you booking shows on Zoom now?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So even now, if you guys
Yeah.
want to get in touch,
Yeah.
contact us.
No. Contact Noam and
Two nice Jewish boys who want to
Jewish
get
after all.
commission. Yeah.
we'll put links to all your social
absolutely.
media.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we go, we have a new collaboration
We
with from this morning with the Australian Jewish News.
Amazing.
Yes, I forgot to tell you.
Well, now we have it
yeah.
live.
Yeah, Australian Jewish News. Check them out. We'll put links.
AJN.
AJN. We'll put links, and they're a great news source for everything Jewish in Australia. We're spread now across 3 continents. So
Yes. And we have to thank Libby for that collaboration.
Right, Libby
Burke.
Burke.
Thank you.
Burke. Okay, so that's Australia. In Israel, we have...
In Israel, Arutz Sheva, we have a collaboration with israelnationalnews.com, so check them out, israelnationalnews.com. Again, a news source, great content on their website, and also...
And also in America, the Jewish Journal at Jewish Journal, www.jewishjournal.com. They have podcasts, they have columns,
yes.
they have content, they have a thriving Instagram.
We're like a
which you
multinational corporation
Yeah.
by now. Yeah,
For sure.
Amazing.
And we accept donations, so please help us out. Go to 2njb.com/donate and support us so we can continue doing what we do.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys,
Thanks for
tuning
inviting
in.
me.
Bye.
Bye.